Hello and welcome to another installment of Liberty Nation's Swamponomics videocast. I'm Andrew Moran, Ellen's economics correspondent. Each week, I dive into the morass of top economic news stories and fish out compelling narratives, or I would retrieve fallacies that have been accepted as conventional wisdom by the swamp creatures for years. This week, the Globalists' Great Reset project begins. Now that former Vice President Joe Biden is set to become the next United States president, the globalists have an ally in the world's largest economy and most powerful government. Ditto for Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and British Prime Minister Boris Johnson, whose governments have uttered the Great Reset phrase. Trudeau, for example, recently addressed Canadians by stating that the coronavirus pandemic gives the world a chance for a, quote, reset to address global challenges like inequality and climate change. But what does this involve exactly? You guessed it, more big government. Anytime politicians and bureaucrats have discussed the Great Reset, it is usually followed by implementing some climate change panacea that steers the nation unrealistically away from oil and gas to renewables, with a side of taxes, of course. While this may seem benign, it does add to Biden's promise at the end of the second and final presidential debate to end the critical oil and gas industry. It makes sense why he was applauded all over the world for his electoral victory. That said, when you study the reports from the last few years, you start seeing something a bit more nefarious, a bit creepy if you will. In 2016, the World Economic Forum published a strange report that was written by Member of Parliament of Denmark, Ida Auken. It was titled, "Welcome to 2030. I own nothing, have no privacy, and life has never been better." The piece, which was described as not being a utopia, but what life could be like by 2030, explained, you don't own a car, you don't own a house, you don't own appliances, you don't own clothes, and the death of shopping has been realized, and you're happy. It was something freaky from before today's life-altering coronavirus pandemic, as if it was a peek into the future. Achieving this dream means expanding the size and scope of the state, imposing a digital currency system like the central bank digital currencies in China, and everything you do is noted by the government. Mark Angelides recently quoted Benito Mussolini when he wrote about the WEF's blueprint to fascism. Everything within the state, nothing outside the state, nothing against the state. The left, the mainstream media, and the globalists accuse President Trump of being a fascist, but it is the next incarnation of the New World Order that is inherently fascist. Klaus Schwab, founder of the World Economic Forum, has a desire to give capitalism a makeover that forces the economic system to be fairer, smarter, and greener. Of course, any time a globalist talks of overhauling the very economic ideology that has lifted more people out of poverty in the last century than any preceding economic system, it is usually more toward a new brand of socialism that makes the government an apotheosis and gives corporate interests a tight-knit relationship with the state. While it seems the coronavirus pandemic was not manufactured by the government, the globalists are not letting a crisis go to waste, as Rahm Emanuel explained, and choosing to instead execute the Marxist Great Reset. That's it for me this week. Please read my full Swamponomics column, where I discuss short sellers losing billions of dollars in November, working from home gets you taxed, and mortgage rates falling to a record low. Thank you.
Go deeper on the topic discussed in this video, head on over to one of these links here or go to our Liberty Nation Roku channel. Thanks so much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell for Liberty.